Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. So, can you guys, those whosoever is watching me live, confirm to me that am I clearly audible or not? Can you guys confirm to me am I clearly audible or not, so that we can start with the today's session? So, basic agenda of today's session. I hope you have read it out from the uh, thumbnail as well as from the heading itself. That we will do some demonstration today. है ना? The major prerequisite to attend the today's live is that you should have the previous live, whatever things I have covered up, access, and you already have covered up that part. Then only you will be able to enjoy it. Okay, that's the important thing. We will wait for few minutes so that everyone will join, and then maybe we will start the today's live. Meanwhile, if you have any sort of questions, any sort of queries, you can ask from me, and I'm here only. After that, within 2-3 minutes, we will start our today's major agenda. uh, thank you so much for the confirmation. You know, if you have anything to ask, you can ask from me. Meanwhile, if others are joining, they will join, and then we will start our today's session. Meanwhile, let me share my screen as well, and you guys let me know that whether my screen is properly visible to everyone or not. Okay, so just give me a second. So I have opened the previous file only, which we have made in the last session, and you guys can confirm to me, is my screen and that excel file is clearly visible to everyone or not. Just give me the confirmation everything is properly visible. I hope you all remember this is what we have made in our last session. Is everyone whosoever is watching will be there with me in the last live also? Okay, I will explain the exact function again. So, uh, Jyoti is asking that in the previous lecture you mentioned about exact function. Please explain again. So, I'll start with the exact function and then we will move ahead. Today we will do the practical demonstration also. You will find it very interesting. And I really want everyone to open their Excel within their system only. Please open, everyone, whosoever is watching me live. I really want everyone to open the Excel sheet in their system, because I want you guys to do it on your own with the way I am doing, so that you will be able to, appreciate the things which I am doing here. Otherwise, if I am doing, then you will not able to feel that sense. Okay. So please try to, meanwhile, I'm waiting for everyone. Please try to open the Excel sheet in your system. You know? Okay. Any questions apart from the exact function anyone is having? Anyone? Apart from the exact function which Jyoti asked, Jyotirubhai asked, any other question? So shall we start? Shall we start the session then? If there are no questions. The last live is clear to everyone, whatever things we have explored so far. So if you remember, in the last live session, we have talked about various functions that we have. We have talked about how we can do the insertion and deletion of any row and any column in Excel. We have talked about the different data types that we have in Excel. Majorly, we have talked about 4 different data types, and all the content, whatever things I have covered up in that session. If you will go, so let me show you one more thing. Okay. Um, so one important thing which I want to show you all is this also. So if you will see my screen here, if I will go to the playlist part, in this playlist, I have created a new playlist by the name of Excel Essential Live. Okay. There you will find everything. So here, if you will see, this is the first session which I have taken. Okay. And in this particular part, if you will observe, in this particular case, if you will observe, in the comment section itself, I have attached the resources. So similar to that, only in this session also I will attach after the session the resources. If you will just click on this, you will be able to get the link where both the PDF as well as the Excel file is attached. Similarly, today's session also, after the completion of today's session, I will attach the same thing in the next live. Fine? Is this fine for everyone? So I will attach in this particular case here itself. Perfect. So let's start our session now. Uh, is Excel is required for data scientists too? Yes, definitely. You should have a knowledge of Excel even if you are a data scientist, data analyst. And as I have mentioned in the very first live also, that it's not only about the people who are from data domain. Yeah, that is compulsory for the people who are in data domain, that they should have a knowledge of Excel. But apart from that also, if you are not even from a data domain, as a for your personal usage also, you should have the knowledge of Excel. And today I will show you why is that so. I will try to create a proper budget plan which I usually create for myself every month, at the very start of the month. And I will show you how basically I usually do. And then if there is some suggestions you have on top of that, that ma'am, you can add this stuff also, or you can remove this stuff also, you can give me the suggestions in the comment section. But I'll show you my scenario, how basically I used to do at each and every month. Okay. How I basically track my expenses. Fine. So let's get started with the today's session now. So what we can do is, I think I have opened the Excel file. So this is the Excel file that we have. So first of all, someone because already asked me about the exact function again. So let me explain that. For example, here, what will happen? What is the purpose of this exact function? Let me remove this. This exact function will check the two text values that you have, and will check that whether these two texts are same or not, are similar or not. For example, if suppose I will be having one text by the name of maybe Jyoti or May. Okay. And another text, suppose if I will have is Priya. I want to check that whether these two text, which is this is the text one that I have, and this is the text two which I have. I want to check that whether these two texts are similar or not, they're exact or not. So then there exists something called as exact function, where you will tap on this is my text one, followed by this is my text two, and then when you click on enter, this will either return the value as true or it will return the value as false. False value indicates that there is not a proper matching of these two texts, and true indicates that yes, there is a proper matching of these two texts. So here, if you will observe, if suppose I will say Priya is the text one and Priya is again the text two. If here I will again apply the exact function, so what will happen here is text one is this, followed by text two is this, and then what you will be able to get is the answer as true, which indicates that the text one and the text two that you're comparing is almost similar to each other. That is the key point here. Fine. Is this exact function is clear to everyone? Now, in today's session, we will talk about the proper planning part, where the very first thing is we will try to see that how basically, maybe if you really want to do at your home also, how basically you can try at your home the expenses that you usually made in a complete month. For example, we will talk about the July month. Okay. So what I will do is, here is the serial number which I will make. Then I will mention one heading as the serial number, one heading as the expenses, another heading as the date of that expense, then what is the amount I have spent. And after that, there is something called as category to track of my expenses. Now this category of that expense can be either it's a necessity for me, either it's a necessity for me, it came under the category of a necessities, or it can be a savings for me, or it can be a luxuries for me, right? Every person usually spend on these three things. Either he or she will spend on his or her necessities, or savings, or luxuries. Now what we will do is we will try to track down few of the things here in this Excel sheet, and then we will try to analyze our complete July expenses which we have made, that how much money we have consumed for our necessities part, how much money we have consumed for our savings part, how much money we have consumed over luxuries part. This is what I usually do for every month. So we will try to create it on the live session itself, and then we will try to do the analysis. And then at your home you can try on your actual expenses that you usually made on your every month, that how basically you can do that. With this particular practice, you will be able to understand how that sum if function will work, which is the objective of today's live session, where I want to talk about the another interesting function called as sum if function. If you remember, in the last session I have talked about sum function. Do you remember that? Equal to sum, and then we usually pass the range, we will be able to get the answer as the sum of the total amount that we have. We will talk about today also that sum function. And now we will talk about sum if function, another amazing function which basically helps us to determine that how much money we are spending for our savings part, luxuries part, and necessities part. Okay, so let's get started with the first serial number. For example, the first serial number is 1. Maybe I have made an expense, so I usually have a rent every month. So suppose I will say that I have paid my rent on which date. Suppose I have paid my rent on 1st of July. So automatically when you write this, you can see the complete date is being displayed by default, right? This is 1st July 2023. How much amount of rent I have paid? Suppose my rent is, maybe I'm writing some random numbers here, 25,000. So I have paid 25,000 rent on 1st of July. Now obviously when I am saying this is the rent, this is something which is a necessity for me, right? This is not my savings, this is not my luxury. This is something which is important in order to sustain in Bangalore, right? So I have paid rent every month this much. This is my necessity, that's for sure. Now let's move ahead. Now, should I write the serial number manually? Now you guys only tell me, should I write the serial number manually? 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. Do you remember? In the last session, we have talked about how basically we used to write the values in the serial manner. Anyone remembers that? So what I can do? Can I do this? Equal to. Then we usually use functions by referring to the addresses of the cell. So this is my address. Can I say +1? I will be automatically able to get 2 now. And if I just double tap on this, or maybe drag manually on this, suppose I want to fill 20 records, I will be able to automatically get the values, the serial numbers. So let's try to fill the 20 records. Let's say 20 expenses I have done in July month. So I will track down those expenses. So let's move ahead. Maybe the next is the my expense is on buying the t-shirt, suppose. Okay. Maybe I have bought the t-shirt on 2nd of July. Now, what you can do is at your end also try to do the similar thing, whatever things I'm writing down here, so that you will be able to get the similar kind of a answer which I am getting. Okay. So suppose I have spent 2,000 rupees on 2nd of July to buy my t-shirts. The third expense which I have made maybe is to do a food ordering, and that too maybe via, I will mention that I have done a food ordering, and that too via Zomato. Suppose I have ordered my food on maybe 3rd of July, automatically this will come. And suppose I have bought a food order of 1500 rupees. I'm just mentioning it again very randomly manner. Now this t-shirts, so these are the three categories that we have, that is for sure. I'm just copying it sidely. Now tell me, this is a necessity. This t-shirt, is this a necessity for me, or it's a saving, or it's a luxury for me? Let's consider that this is a necessity for me. T-shirts are necessities because I will buy the clothes which is important for me. Food ordering is something which is not a necessity for me, it's a luxury. Can I say, everyone? Can I say it's a luxury? Now, what other expenses I can do or we can do? Anyone? Maybe I went for maybe restaurant to have a food. Now, or let's say I have done a Amazon shopping. I have done a Amazon shopping. Again, suppose I have done that shopping on 3rd of July only, and that shopping is costing me rupees 2500. Again, that will come under the category of a luxury, right? After that, suppose maybe I used to do a SIP every month. I'm saying I will do the SIP every month, and on every 4th of July, that SIP will be gone of rupees 5000, let's say. Now, this comes under the category of a savings, right? This comes under the category of a savings. In a similar manner, now I am just copy pasting few things here because I don't want to waste time over here, this part. I hope you will be able to understand what we are doing here. And maybe then we have invested on some mutual fund, we have invested on some FDs, FD, right? And then we used to order food, we have invested over there as well. I'm just copying it up to just fill up the values. What other than that we usually do? Any other thing which you can think of? Maybe you can say you have spent on grocery items at your home. So on 5th of July, I have spent on grocery items, and suppose that expense is around 5000, let's say. And again, that is something which is a necessity for me, right? Which is a necessity for me. So this is how basically I am tracking down everything from the scratch with respect to the complete July month, whatever things I have done so far. Suppose eating out is another thing, and then maybe again I have invested in some mutual fund. Again, uh, I have invested in some shopping from mall. Okay, and then maybe again I have done some SIP. Let's say now, suppose I'm just copying it, just scrolling it up automatically. What will happen is the dates are increasing in a 25th of July. Let's consider this is the complete expense which I have made. Now, when I'm saying Amazon shopping, it's a luxury again. It's a luxury again. Then, when I'm saying food ordering, again a luxury thing. When I'm saying grocery, it is a necessity thing, right? When I'm saying mutual fund, it is a savings thing. It's a savings thing. When I'm saying again, this is again a luxury. Okay. When I'm saying FD, again it's a savings. When I'm saying Amazon shopping, again it's a luxury. When I'm saying again a food ordering, again it's a luxury. When I'm saying eating out, again I will consider it as a luxury, which I can avoid, right? Savings, again shopping, luxury. It feels like I love shopping too much, but that's not true. I don't know why I have written this much things in the shopping part. Food ordering, again, it's a luxury. SIP is again a savings, and Amazon shopping is again a luxuries. Fine. Now, how much money we have spent? I have spent in Amazon shopping. Suppose 2400. I will say. Okay. Food ordering. Suppose 1200. Grocery. Suppose again 2400. Mutual fund. Suppose again 3400. Food ordering. Suppose 1000. FD, suppose I have made an FD of maybe 1 lakh rupees. Amazon shopping, suppose 2800. Food ordering, suppose 900. Eating out, suppose 1500. Mutual fund, suppose 2700. Shopping from mall, suppose 870. Food ordering, suppose 1298. SIP, suppose 10,000. Okay. And then Amazon shopping is again 129, let's say. So this is the complete expense that I have made for a July month. I have created a sheet where a complete on which date, what expense I have made, I have written it down. I have jotted it down. Now, it's very important that to track our, record whatever I have mentioned. It's of no use if I will not track it down, that okay, how much total amount I have spent in the complete month. So if I will ask you, what is the complete, in a nutshell, what is the complete amount which I have spent in the complete July month, what will you answer? Anyone, any answer can anyone give to me? I'm saying, can you tell me what is the complete expense that I have made in the complete, I would say, July month? What will be your answer? Any answer can I get from anyone? It's very simple. What we supposed to do? What formula we can apply here? And which particular column we have to focus on here with respect to the calculation of the complete expense that we have made in this particular record data that I have for the July month? Anyone, any answer anyone wants to give to me? That's true. So here, if you will observe, as mentioned by Slake and Jyoti, what we have to do, we have to just do the summation of what function, its amount, right? So what we will do is, D is the column, right? D is the column which is basically tracking down what is the expense that I have made, what amount of expense I have made, right? So what I can do, I can say, I hope now everyone knows how we can apply the sum function, and no one will do it manually, just like typing the numbers or typing the addresses. I hope you all remember the previous session where I have talked about three approaches to solve in this particular case. Either you will manually type on each and every number, or you will manually click on each and every cell and do the addition, or you can use directly the same function, sum function. Which out of these three, which one is the great approach? Out of these three, which one is the great approach? Using the sum function. So what we can do, we can say sum of, what is the starting value? It is this, followed by what is the ending value? What is my ending value? Which is this. And then I will close it down. So can I say that this is something, my complete expense, which is coming out to be 1,71,597? Can I say, everyone? From D2 to D21 is the summation which will bring out to me a sense that in the month of the July, I have made this much expense, this much huge expense. Is it correct or not? Is it correct or not? Can I say, everyone? Now, that's not, until this far also I'm not satisfied, because in this case, I am doing it for the necessity part where I can't control my rent, right? I can't control my savings part, but I can control my luxury part. So, can I get an idea that how much expense I have made on the necessities part? How much expense I have made on a savings part? How much expense I have made on a luxuries part? So, this sheet 3 is the analysis sheet. This sheet 3, so this sheet 1, I am just renaming it. So, what you can do, you can rename this sheets by clicking on the right button on the mouse, and you can say rename. This is about the session number 1, if you remember, right? In this sheet number 2, the sheet name I am giving it to the, uh, I will say, expense record. Okay, this is the sheet number 2. Sheet number 3 rename is, I want to do the analysis. So I am saying expense analysis is my sheet name number 3. Okay. Now in this sheet, I have 3 categories. If you remember, in every month, I will be working on the 3 categories, which are nothing but necessities, savings, and luxuries. So I'm just copying it down. These are the 3 important categories which I have. Now, what I really want is, I really want a summation in each category, means how much is the necessity I have made in the last July month, how much is the savings I have done in the July month, how much luxuries I have made in the July month. So what will I do? Just in a layman term, can you give me the answer? What you will do if I'll ask you, What is the amount that you have made in the necessities part? What will you do? Anyone who can answer to me? If I will ask you, is the problem statement is clear to you? What I am saying is, if I'll ask you simple question, given this data set, what is the amount that you have made an expense in the necessities category? What will be your answer? What will be your answer? Can you say that wherever the category necessity is there, what I will do is I will do the addition of all those things? Can you say? Yes. You will say that I will do the summation of all the amount spent on the necessity category. The criteria should be necessities. Now, this thing, how we can do using the sum if function is the today's session. So, if someone will be able to understand the stuff now, his or her things are pretty much clear with respect to the today's session. Try to understand. It's little bit tricky. I will go it very slow, and if you get any sort of doubt in between, you can ping in the chat window. I am again and again looking into the chat, and I will for sure try to resolve it out. That's the ultimate idea behind these live sessions, so that I can see your doubt on the spot and I can respond you back. That's the ultimate idea. So let's try to understand how we can move ahead towards this point. Okay, let's try to understand. So what we can do, I'm using something called a sum if function. I'm using something called as sum if function. So now you know how we can use any function is in Excel is equal to and then sum if. Now, what will you say? You now here you will also observe that all these sheets in a complete workbook, all these worksheets are interconnected to each other. You can explore and go behind previous sheet or the upcoming sheet. What I will do is I will go to the expense record sheet. Can you see the formula above? I am moving towards the expense record sheet, and I am saying that I want to work in this particular column. This is the complete range of my column, which is the category column where I want to work for. So that's why it is coming out as E comma E. Now, what is the criteria? What is the criteria on which you want to shortlist? You will again go back to the expense analysis sheet, and you will say that the criteria is the necessities. Criteria is the necessities. What do you want to do? What you want to do is a summation. How will you do? You will go to the again expense record sheet and you will click on this. And once you will enter this, you will be able to get an answer that how much money you have spent on the necessities part. It is coming out to be 34,400. Listen it very carefully what I have done here. Listen it very carefully. What I am saying here, I'm again doing the same thing on the savings part. If suppose I want in my expense record, in the category of a savings, how much total savings I have done in the July month, how will it work? It's just a game of formula. That's it. It's very easy to compute. Just see here. I'm using sum if function. I hope you all are aware about the concept of conditional statements in DSA. If else, right? Here also we are doing a similar task. We have some condition. That's why I'm using a sum if function. Now, if you will observe in this sum if function, you will be having three things to mention. What is the range? What is the criteria? What is the sum range? Okay. First of all, what is the range? So what you will do, you will go to the expense record sheet because your range is there in the expense record sheet. You will go there. So automatically the name of the sheet will come here. And then exclamation mark is coming up, which says that which is the range, which column is the range. You will say category is the column which you have to focus on. This is the range where I will be having a category. Now you will say comma. You will say what is the criteria? On what criteria I will try to do the summation? Either you will mention manually, you will go to the expense analysis sheet, you will mention that savings is the criteria. So you are referring the savings. You are clicking on the savings, A3 cell. In the expense analysis sheet, you are saying go to expense analysis sheet and take A3 as the criteria. What is A3? A3 is something which you can say is the savings part, right? Comma. What is the next thing? What thing you want to add? Which column you will focus on the addition part? I want the addition of this amount column, right? And then you will just close it down and you will be able to get the answer as, okay, there is something wrong which we have done here. Okay, we are repeating it again. So I am just removing this. Now it is fine, right? So we will be able to get that total savings which I have done in the July month is 1 lakh 21,100. It is 1 lakh 21,100. Is this sum if function is clear to everyone? If you want, you can just double tap here. Automatically, you will be able to get the answer for the luxuries part. Or you can again apply a formula for the luxuries part, like the way I have applied for savings and the necessities part. Is this part is clear to everyone? So for every month, in this way, with the help of this sum if function, I am able to get an idea that on which category, what amount I'm spending more, either on necessities part, or in my savings part, or in my luxuries part. Now, if you will do the summation of all these three categories, you will say sum, you will say sum, and you will say sum of, you will say this until the below part, and you will close it down. What you're getting? 1,71,597, which is exactly same as this number. Can you say? Can you see this? This number and this number is same, which makes sense, right? We are doing the addition of these values only, amount values only, but now category wise. So in this way, we can make an analysis for every month that, okay, what is the ratio of our necessities versus savings versus luxuries. At any point of time, if you feel like that your luxuries are going very high, you can have a control on that, right? Here, if you will observe, this is not that much high as comparable to the savings which I am making or the necessities which I am doing. So that's a very good proportion. But at any point of time, if you feel like that your luxuries are way beyond than your necessities or your savings, then you have to look upon that part. So this is how basically the sum if function will work. If anyone is having any sort of doubt in this function, you can ask from me. That's the ultimate important point which I really want to convey here in this particular session, that how this sum if function will work. In the upcoming session, again, we will talk about another functions that we have in Excel. But today's major focus is to show you practically demonstration of that budget kind of a sheet where I can show you that how basically you can utilize this function practically and you can use at your own home as well. At every month, you can try to now track it down via this Excel sheet, an amazing tool. And this is how basically I usually do. So anything which you want to ask from me now, you can ask from me. Is this sum if function is clear to everyone? It contains three components. Whenever you will call this, you can try at your home now. It contains three components. First one is the range. You have to define what is the range. Also, you have seen that how these sheets are interconnected now, right? How these sheets are interconnected now. And this is what we have seen here. Is this part is clear to everyone? So if you will go to the previous sheet, automatically this sheet name will come, expense record, exclamation. What is the range that we have to define? After that, second important component is the criteria. So again, I will go back to the expense analysis. Again, the name will come. My criteria is suppose savings. I have clicked on that. After that, again, what will be the final component? Where you want to do the summation and bracket close. This is the ultimate way to do this thing. Is this part is clear to everyone? Is this three components are clear to everyone? Anyone, any doubt? So here I have written it down 2 times. So that's why it is coming up wrong. It's okay. Is this part is clear to everyone that how is this these things are coming up? Three components. First one is the range. Second one is the criteria. And the last one is the sum range which you want to add. Can I get some confirmation from you all? Yes or no? Any doubts you have? Slake, no meaning what? No doubts. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Shall we move ahead to the one more important, interesting part? Shall we move ahead? Okay. If you remember, in the last part, we have talked about this complete sheet. Now we have break down these particular component into two parts. What is the record, which we have mentioned? What is the analysis, what we have mentioned? And we can see that how via the Sumif function we can utilize this particular thing. Apart from this also, if suppose you are doing any kind of a savings, and whatever mathematical formulas you have, which we usually study so far, for example, what is the formula to generate a compound interest? If suppose, let me give you one simple example. What I'm saying here is, for example, if suppose you are investing some in some SIP, and investment years which you are planning is, suppose, so I'm giving you here the idea that how basically now you are in a position to utilize any mathematical formula in this Excel sheet to do your task. For example, you are saying that I am investing somewhere, and the number of years which I will do the investment is 15 years, and I am starting with a principal amount, which is, suppose, maybe let's say your current amount is something which you are spending is, suppose, 50,000. Okay. And the rate of return which that particular SIP or that particular mutual fund or that particular fixed deposit is giving to you, suppose 12%. Consider that it's a 12%. Now, if suppose I will ask you that what is the final amount which you will be able to get, what is the final amount which you will be able to get after the end of these 15 years, how will you compute? These basic things we have already studied in our uh, very lower classes like 8th, 10th, to get the compound interest formula. That is something which you need to apply here. Does anyone remembers that? If suppose I will give you some simple maths thing that I have a money 50,000, I want to spend it. A rate of return is 12%, and I want to spend it for 15 years. What is the final amount which I will be able to get after 15 years? Can you do it via Excel? Now, the person who don't know Excel, he will compute it manually by applying the formula. The person who knows Excel, what he will do, he will apply the formula here itself, which is nothing but what is the principal amount that you have into 1 plus rate of return to the power, what is the number of investment years you are spending. So this is the formula that you will be able to get. This is the formula that we already have. I am not computed this formula. I have just applied this formula to get the final amount. So this is something that you have to make sure that whatever mathematical formulas that we have, okay, here there is no need to do divide by 100 manually. Automatically Excel will take care of that. Okay, you just need to apply the simple formula to get the amount. You will be able to get the answer. So the simple thing here, which I want you all to make sure after this session, is that whatever things you have learned so far as a mathematical formulas, whether it's a summation, now whether it's an average, again you can do average as well, whether it's finding out category wise the summation, all these stuffs, whether it's finding out the compound interest, whether it's finding out final amount, just like the way we have computed here, anything you can do via Excel. Just one thing which you have to make sure is that you just don't need to refer manual numbers here. You just have to refer the cell addresses. Always make sure what is the benefit of that. Now you can observe, for example, here I have done a referencing via the address which is A3. What will happen? What is the benefit? If suppose I will change savings, from savings I will mention luxuries, automatically my answer will change. Can you see that? Automatically my answer will change. If I will just manually type on the values, then that's a problem for me. Now if I again change to savings, automatically my answer get changed. If I just manually type on these values, you can do that as well. For example, if here I'll say manually savings, you can do like this as well. You will get the same answer. But now the problem here is that if I just type luxuries again, I will not able to change my answer. My Excel will not change the answer. And that's the ultimate point which I always says to you all, right? So always make sure that you will work with the addresses and not the numbers. So there is an issue here now. Let me just change it first of all savings, and then maybe I can make it A3, and now it is fine. Is this clear to everyone what I have said here? Is that fine? So far, so good. In the next upcoming session, which I will try to connect it very soon, I will try to talk about further functions in Excel. So if you don't have any issues, we can wrap up today's session. I want to take small sessions, not a bigger one. I'll talk about further very interesting functions that we have in Excel in the upcoming videos. So please stay tuned. As I already told you that I have already curated a separate playlist by the name of Excel Essentials, which you can check it out. And those who have missed the live session, because so many of you have pinged me on LinkedIn that I have missed that, I don't have the information that you are going to be live. So that's not that much worry. I have created a separate playlist where all my live will go in this playlist, and you will be able to understand the concept after the session as well. Whatever resources I am using, I will attach those resources in the comment section of every video, and that will help you all to understand the concepts after the session as well. I hope this is fine for everyone. Do you have anything to talk about apart from this? Can we have a live session for DSA for data science? I think I have taken one, if I'm not wrong. Just go and check it out. I believe I have taken one. If you will go to my live, I think, as far as I know, I have taken one. Can you see the role of DSA in modern data science? Slake, can you see the video? So check it out, this video. This is the live video which I have taken. What is the role of DSA? And even I have again attached the resources also. What are the session notes, reference books, everything I have attached here. So I have already taken one live with respect to this particular part. You can just check it out. Fine. So all my live, you can check it out in this live thing. You will see that whatever lives I have taken. Even there was someone who was talking about the resume part. Again, I have taken one very interesting live, that how you can create an impressive resume using overleaf. Please go and check it out, this part as well. Okay. Okay, then let's end the today's live. I hope you find today's live insightful. If you do, please hit like button, share this video with everyone, and I will see you all very soon in the next upcoming live, where we will talk about further amazing functions in the Excel part. I hope you all are enjoying that series as well. Bye bye and take care.